Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday to you. We hope you had a great weekend. So, on Friday, Miss Richards and I asked you to use this map to make a map of your own and then put arrows to indicate where scientists believe humans migrated. And so, we showed you that from what evidence shows now, from the fossil evidence that we have, it looks like the oldest bones that we know of were found in East Africa. So we showed you that number 9 indicated where it is believed humans began and then from there migrated out. Now again, let's remember that's all that we know, that's all that we've found so far. And I say we, I mean humans, archaeologists. That's all that's been found so far. Could there be something that comes up later that shakes this whole theory? Of course. And we have to remember that because we're in prehistory. It's a time before written language. It's a time before there are things that are documented and written down. So all we have to go off of are what are found and dug up over time by archaeologists and scientists and then tested for dating. That's all that we can go by. And that's what we are using at this point. So we showed you this map and we said, please go ahead and draw the world in this a mannerism, meaning Europe and Africa on this side, Asia, Australia, and the Americas over here. A lot of times maps are not set up this way, world maps, but we ask you to use it this way so that you could draw your arrows appropriately. So let's also remember, boys and girls, that this migration took thousands of years and many generations. It was difficult traveling. It was difficult to get to places. Let's think about that even. We've kind of pondered this before. In some areas, travel might have been kind of easy. It might have gone okay in the grasslands. It's pretty easy to walk across grasslands. The weather's not too horrible. You can make it across. But if you're traveling through a jungle where it's very, very hot and there's lots of dense vegetation, that's going to take you longer. Or if you're traveling in a very cold area, that might take you longer because you need to make some kind of a hut or something to stay in at night. You need to make sure you have fire. So those areas can be more difficult to travel in, thinking about that. Also remembering, please, boys and girls, that during this time when humans were migrating, it was an ice age. And because of the ice age, remember, it's not ice bridges that helped humans, it's land bridges during the ice age because the water from the oceans was in the glaciers. And because it was in the glaciers, the ocean levels dropped. When the ocean levels dropped, that exposed more land. When the more land was exposed, that was more area for humans to walk and go to different places. So, for example, in this area in Australia, you can see that if the land, we're going to examine this more closely in the next section, but if the water levels have dropped and there's more land exposed, it's easier to walk from one island to another. Or if you can see land on the other side, you might be a willing participant to get on some kind of floating boat kind of thing. They didn't have advanced boats of any sort, but some kind of a floating object to get to get to the other side if you could see the other side. So when there was higher water, you wouldn't be so excited about that. You maybe wouldn't do it. And that's the exact same thing up here. Remember with the Bering Strait. Because there was lower ocean levels, it exposed more land, and we watched that little video last week. Humans could walk across from one side to the other, and then that allowed for population down into the Americas. So let's take a look at your map. Will you please make sure you have your map out? If you need to pause for a second to get it out, please do so. Remember, you need to keep these. We are going to build upon these maps. So put those in a safe spot in your folder of some sort, and we'll be using those. But get your maps out real quick, please. Okay, now that you have your maps out and your name is on your map and your crew teacher's name is on your map in case it does get misplaced accidentally, I'm going to show you my map. Now, please do not laugh. I did not trace. I tried my best, freehand. It looks so easy to draw, doesn't it? It just looks so easy, but alas, not so much. So this is my world map. You think Africa would be easy to draw, but it just looks like a lima bean. Anyways, so you have your map with, and I labeled mine because, goodness gracious, I don't think you'd know otherwise what was what. This is Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, North and South America. Then I use my arrows to show where we believe humans went, starting here, East Africa, and moving into these directions. And then moving across here. I don't know why, but when I put this into the computer, that line right there kind of dissipated. But they went across, and then they go into Europe, and they go north, and they continue on towards into Asia, and then down into Australia. And Australia's population is possible because those water levels were low, and they could walk or take small little boat rides to another island. When the ice age ends and those glaciers start to melt and the water levels rise again, some people can't get off those islands. Generations stay on those islands because they don't have a way off. Same with animals. We'll talk about more of that later. Then we can see, and this is the big one, you have to have an arrow line indicating that humans went from Asia into North America. You need to show that bridge there. This is the way scientists believe humans got to North and South America, is by walking the Bering Strait when the water levels were low and there was a way to walk across with a land bridge. So you need to indicate that, and then a little bit of an arrow there and a little bit of an arrow there. If you don't have arrows similar to this, will you please add them in or make the corrections you need to make right now? So we're noticing that humans took thousands of years to go ahead and fill the earth and to be able to go to all spots. I think it's so amazing that humans have that drive in them, have that initiation, have that I need to go. And why do they need to go? We've been studying push and pull factors. Why would prehistoric humans, in the time before writing, why would they be out there? I always think about these guys, up in really cold areas. It's the ice age, and they've got to be so cold, and they're looking for a woolly mammoth or something to eat, and it just must have been brutal. And yet they persevered and they kept at it and they went for it, and what that must have been like for those people and being able to cross over with generations. So making sure you've started here. I put an X on, marks the spot. Maybe I should make a little red mark here. So X marks the spot, and then heading out in this direction, heading out in this direction, heading out in this direction. And then for those push and pull reasons, humans headed in this direction and out into Europe, out into Asia, into Australia. Oops, that's not quite right. And then through and up through the Bering Strait into the Americas. So making sure you have that and thinking about what would those push and pull factors be for these early humans. The same thing for us, but maybe just a little tidbit difference in the details. So food, right? So I'm going to look at those a little more closely in the next couple of days. Ms. Richards will be talking to you about a little project you're going to work on. But thinking about what motivates people to move or to migrate. All right, double check that map. Make sure you have all those arrows and that you've covered this area right here. We need to make sure that we're showing that humans went through the Bering Strait. That's the theory, when the water levels were low because of the ice age, and they're able to cross over after leaving Africa. Okay, boys and girls, thanks. Have a great Monday, and we will be back with the project soon.